Okay, so we are live. So, Assalamualaikum and a very good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the third webinar series live from School of Computing Facebook. So, first of all, Selamat Hari Raya Aidilfitri, Happy Harvest Festival, and also Selamat Hari Gawai to those who are celebrating. I hope you guys had a blessed celebration with your friends and family, whether you're in campus or at home, despite the situation that we are facing right now. I hope you are celebrating it safely. So, we are currently 2 months in right now, having online classes and adjusting ourselves to the new norm. And of course, due to the COVID-19 pandemic happening, everyone has to stay at home and also work from home. So assessments for undergraduate and also postgraduate students have been conducting online, like midterms, quiz, online presentation, Viva, and also our upcoming final examination will also be conducted online as well, which is why our webinar today is entitled What to Expect from E-assessments. So we're going to talk about the type of assessments that will be conducted in our final exam, challenges faced, and also issues related to online assessments. So my name is Nurul Atika binti Piakong, acting as today's moderator. And with me, we have 4 panelists joining us today. So the first one is Associate Professor Dr. Dayang Nurhayati Abang Jawawi, our Associate Chair of Academic and Student Development of School of Computing. Next, we also have Professor Dr. Muhammad Shafi'i Abdul Latif, Director of Computer Science Program of School of Computing. Then we also have 2 student panelists joining us today. So we have Ahmad Shahir bin Abdul Hanim, a second-year software engineering student. Also, he is the Vice President of College Affairs of UTM Student Representative Council. Last, we have Muhammad Zafran bin Muhammad Zalisha. He is a postgraduate student, also an academic fellow, also known as SLAM of School of Computing. So before we start, I would like to invite all of our viewers to pose any questions, any comments, or any suggestions you have for our panelists. So you can write it in the comment section of our FB Live today, and we will answer all of your questions at the end of our webinar. So let's start. Okay, so ever since the movement control order that has begun since 18 March 2020, UTM has implemented online teaching and learning for students and academic staffs. So assessments of student learning is a key aspect of quality assurance, and it is also one of the most important measures to show the achievement of learning outcomes. Hence, online assessments have been carried out include online examination, online quizzes, online tests, and also include oral assessments, oral presentation, and Viva. So my first question to Dr. Dayang is, since we are approaching the end of our long semester, one thing that all the undergraduate students have to worry about is our final examination, since we have like 4 to 5 weeks left. So what are the difference about our final exams during this COVID-19 pandemic situation compared to our traditional final exam? Because I've seen that there are 3 types of assessment, which is take-home exam, online exam, and also alternative assessments. So what are the difference between these 3?
Okay, thank you very much, Atika. Assalamualaikum and hi to everybody who joined us today. Basically, before I focus with the 3 differences, 3 types of assessment, let I briefly say what's the similarity between the 3 types. Actually, all of them, we call them online examination or online assessment. They're going to replace your final exam, conventional final exam, like for example, a pen and paper final exam. Quite similar in terms of coverage, meaning that the topic will be asked, the complexity we will ask the student will be the same, just that the way we organize it, the way we conduct it, slightly different. Okay, let's go to the differences. Um, uh, Online exam and take-home exam as one family. What I'm going to discuss here is focus with final exam, not Viva or PSM presentation. It's more like pen and paper exam that we used to have it before. Right? We will what are the assessment that we introduce to replace pen and paper final exam. Sometimes we call it summative assessment in education terms. Okay, then online examination and home examination is as a one family because they're going to replace final exam. Okay, but some of the final exam that we introduced before this, we replace it to alternative assessment. Alternative assessment is similar to your assignment, but it must be individual. Okay, so we have two groups. One is online exam, another one is alternative assessment. Okay, when we conduct these two parts, the online exam, we will conduct it during examination week. So in this semester, our examination week will start on the 5th till 23rd July. So all online exam and take-home exam will be conducted during that period. And then alternative assessment will be organized during lecture. So officially, we will assess alternative assessment from 7 to 25th June. Okay, how should you know which one is your courses will use alternative assessment, take-home exam, online exam? I think academic office already emailed you the list, and then which of your courses will be evaluated according to this three. Okay, like back to the online exam. During final exam week, where we have two types of online exam. The first one we call it synchronized exam, online exam. Another one is asynchronized. Asynchronized, we usually call it take home exam. Why we call it take home exam? Because it is an
Dr. Dayang, is she there? Okay.
Sorry, can I continue?
So, doctor.
I was with take-home exam just now. So this take-home exam is open book, okay? And the other one is synchronized. Sometimes we just call it online exam, okay? Synchronized online exam. Take-home exam is also online exam. Usually we call it take-home exam because we can open book. The online exam is closed book exam, okay? And the main difference between these two are open book and closed book. And the second difference is the duration. Usually, open book exam or take-home exam require longer time, which is for School of Computing, we limit the exam until 5 hours maximum, so 3 to 5 hours. And then online exam or synchronized examination, 1 to 2 hours, okay, shorter than take-home exam. In terms of the question style, synchronized, which is online exam, is much more simpler question where usually we use short answer question, true, false, or multiple choice. Okay, but for take-home exam, it's much more open-ended. Okay, most postgraduate courses at master level, they use take-home exam because their material, their complexity is higher. But there are a number of courses for undergraduate, especially third year and final year, and some second year courses are also will conduct take-home exam. So these are the main difference of the three types of summative assessment that we will organize in School of Computing. Back to you, Atika.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Dayang, for the explanation of the assessment just now. I think the students watching will have a clearer understanding on the types of assessments that will be conducted. So my next question is to Shahir. So maybe all of the students have know by now regarding the method of their final examinations since the academic office has recently issued the second draft of the final exam schedule. So, is there any concerns that you want to raise on behalf of the undergraduate students?
Oh, okay. Firstly, I would like to thank you for the moderator to inviting me into these conferences. Uh, for the concern that I have been talk of, which is I've done one of the my survey about the online assessment. So in the survey there are lots of kind of quick answer that and response that I've received. So one of it that concerns in behalf of the undergraduate student is basically the main thing weak internet connection. So that is the main concern for the undergraduate students, and also I think it is not for the undergraduate but most of the student in the UTM, because the internet connection is the main thing in for this kind of situation right now. And other than that is the environments are not too conducive for them to focus, which is as we all know that most of the students are going home because uh, for the PKP period is has been extended for a long period of time, so they've been going to homes. But the problem is the environment at home is not similar to with what are the environment in our university, so that are the problem. And the other thing is the time limited for the assessment is too short for them to done anything, which is might be that in some tests or in some assessment the usual period of time to solve that problem is more longer, but in this kind of period which is it might be short for us, so the lecturer give a time limit a little bit short. Other than that, it is a connection loss when submitting the answer. So for this thing, I've also have been experiencing it. So it is quite frustrating when we want to submit the answer, but the when we submit, then our connection is lost. Then we need to log into our account for to submit the answer. And there's sometimes that our account we need to re-answer the question back. So that are what my concerns said. That is what the top response that I received based on the online survey.
Okay, thank you, Shahir, for bringing up the concerns on behalf of our students. So I totally agree with the Wi-Fi connectivity problems because, as all of you may know, we're not in the same place, and we all are at different places and don't have the same Wi-Fi connection. So some students maybe have a harder time participating in the online assessments.
Yeah.
So back to Dr. Dayang. So after listening to Shahir's, concerns, what can doctor suggest?
Thank you, Atika and Shahir. We agree. Internet connection is the major challenge for online teaching and learning. Due to that, UTM are still in the process of drafting. Inshallah, the guideline of final examination guideline during COVID-19 pandemic will be shared with the students next week by UTM lead. Okay. The link of the guideline will be shared with you here. I think Fat will share with us the link. But the deadline will be available next week. I will also share with all of you once what we have in the guideline. Let's link it with what Shahir problem, the problem just now. With internet connection, okay, before final exam, according to the guideline, student need to fill in a form before your final exam. The called Internet and Computer Availability and Compatibility List, meaning that all students need to do this form to assess your internet capability for individual students. Okay, if we identify there are problems with your internet, okay, if this lecturer think that your internet capability or internet speed not suitable for the type of examination, the lecturer will consult you before the exam. That is before exam. Yeah, make sure you fill in the form before exam for each courses. Each courses require different platform for exam. Okay, that is first for before exam. Let's say, um, let's say problem during your examination. Like for example, it's okay for the first 1 hour. Suddenly, the connection lost. Okay, especially online, which is synchronized. Take home exam is not that difficult because you need to download the examination question. You don't have to connect to your computer. You just can answer it on your pen and paper or on your computer, and then you submit it at the end. But for online, you need to be online all the time, right? Like for example, if the exam is 1 hour, then you need to fill in to have your network connected 1 hour. So if in the middle it is disconnected, you need, according to the guideline, you need to communicate with your lecturer or anybody in the examination hall, meaning that there is an examination session within 30 minutes. It cannot be more than 30 minutes. Within 30 minutes, you need to collect the proof. What is the problem? Show them the problem, and there will recommend action what you should do. Either first, you will be given extra time until, let's say you're having this problem for 30 minutes, then they will give you extra time for 30 minutes. But you must let the lecturer know what are the problems and proof of the problem. Okay, that is first. Second, please don't wait until like 1 hour, then you tell your lecturer. It's going to be difficult for us to decide. Yeah. Secondly, if the line is very bad, so you cannot join the session, we will reschedule you another session of examination. Okay, but this thing needs to be discussed within the session, not after 1 hour, 3 hours, the exam already end, then you let the lecturer know. No. So please refer to the guideline. Okay, online final exam guideline during pandemic 19 at UTM lead homepage olc.utm.my. They will publish that next week. Okay, and then another issue that Shahir mentioned just now is environment. Yes, there are house which less conducive environment for examination. Like for example, you have so many siblings, you don't have enough computer for you to do online. Okay, you need to inform your lecturer before examination. Okay, so UTM will arrange you to the nearest university. Like for example, you are in Kuantan, we will arrange you with UMP so that you can go to UMP and borrow their computer lab so that you can have your exam there. Okay, this needs to be arranged before final exam, and most of the courses will do test run. They will run the platform. They will test it with you. Let's say when they read your form just now, they predict that you're going to have problems during the exam. The lecturer will communicate with you, will test the line with you, and then if they think you're having problem in terms of the environment and the line, they will advise you accordingly. Either you can proceed at home, or you can go to the nearest university where you can sit for exam. UTM will issue later so that you can go there. Okay. So whatever it is, you need to communicate with your lecturer. I think I covered all. Oh, time limit provided too short. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That one. That feedback I agree because this is new for all the lecturer. Okay. This is also new for student. Lecturer is in the learning process during midterm tests, how what type of question, and we did experience things, and then also the student online exam also new to our student. So so now I believe all lecturer already face the problem and they're already improved. But if you think you require extra time, please request within, because during the examination there will be a platform where you can give suggestion to lecturer, like for example, can we have another 10 minute extra, can we have another half an hour extra, you can discuss with the lecturer, then the lecturer will decide whether they want to add 30 minutes to a whole section or 30 minutes to a particular student or particular group of students. So please do the discussion with the lecturer during the examination section. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Dayang, for the suggestion. So, to sum up what Dr. Dayang said is to just communicate with your lecturers. You know, if you have any problems, don't be afraid to contact your lecturers if you have all those problems. So, let's talk about postgraduate assessments. So, my next question is to Prof. Shafi'i. So assessments for undergraduate and postgraduate students are a bit different. So for master's taught course, maybe it has a similar assessments like the undergraduate students. But how about research postgraduate students? How the usual assessments is different for the current situation?
Right. Thank you, Atika. I hope that all of you can hear me very well. Okay. Okay. What actually about the postgraduates? Um, Still, because of this time, so what actually we are going to do is e-assessment. huh? We do the assessment online. So basically, what actually the assessment is, right? Because I'm just focused on the research work, research student, PhD, and research student in computer science. So actually, the assessment is to verify your work. To verify your work. So what we have done so far, for a first assessment, for example, you have gone through for how many semesters? 3 semesters, right? So we want to verify your work, right? And actually, the work in assessment of research, actually, you have to do independence. Independence. So that means you have to do the works yourself. But at the same time, they need some collaborations. uh, They need some collaboration. What I mean is that you have to collaborate with some other researchers because you can't do your works alone with your PC without communicating with others, right? And that this is actually need collaboration with some other researchers, with your friends, and all these things. So you work yourself as independent, yet you need to collaborate because this is the research work. You have to go through all the literatures from other people, right? So the supervisors basically is just a guidance, as a guide to guide you whether you are in the correct tracks or you're going to you're going far now because you are start to searching all over the place about all the literatures, then you go so far from the the scope that you're supposed to do. So your supervisor is responsible to guide you so that you are in the correct tracks. So basically in the assessment, what you need to show is uh, a few basic things. Okay, there are about, I would like to tell you about 6 things. The first thing is on your literature review. How actually you are going to conduct your literature review. You organize your literature review. You analyze your literature reviews. And then how actually you document your literature review. And then from that, the second one is how actually that you are come up with the research gap. from the literature that you are going through, then you start to find out, oh, what actually the gaps that I can proceed to do more research on that. So this is what actually we are going to verify. You know, have you find out the gap from the oceans of literatures that you go through, and then you'll be able to write a proper research question. So we go through your research questions and what actually the objective of your research. What actually the objective? What actually you're going to achieve at the end of your research. So this is the objective that you have to state properly. So this is basically in the assessment, more or less the same when you do your oral session at the time of first assessment, as well as at the Viva session. The main question actually is we want to know whether your objective is, something that is worth for the first assessment, something that is achievable for you within three and a half years, or for example, like for PhD at the Viva session, we will verify whether your objective is clearly to the overall knowledge of that. So this is kind of things that we need to assess you, right? Okay, and then how you conduct research. In your research methodology, you have to state in the research methodology how actually you're going to conduct your research, what tools that you're going to use, what actual experimentation you want to conduct. You see, so at the experimentations levels, we want to know, is it the experimentation that you are going to conduct is something that is contribute to your objective, right? And then of course, and something that of course all the research have to be done in the way that you must have some kind of experimentation. It's not something that you propose something, yet you get struggle on how actually that you are going to do some experimentation on your theories, on your algorithm, on your hypotheses and all these things. So we go through that, how actually you're going to do your experimentation. Is it worth it? Are you going to develop some prototype, or you're going to do some simulations or something like that? What type of data that you're going to use? Is it worth or not? So this is the thing that we are going to assess you. And the last actually is you have to present the result. The result. What actually you are expected in your research, what actually the expected result. And for PhD Viva, we evaluate whether the result that you achieve is really contribute and in line with the objective that you are proposed or you are suggest in your research work. So this is basically the thing that what we are going to do in your assessment in the Viva session, in the orals session that we conduct. So for this particular time, so it's a big uh, what I can say critical or critical conditions where we have to conduct things in online. Everything is online, right? So I'm going to talk about how actually you are going to submit your documents, your thesis, your form, and everything online. So this is have to be done uh, related to the due dates. So this is a very important fact that I want to raise as well. Dates, the due dates of submission, and the dates of orals and viva sessions. This is very important. All the research students have to know, when actually you're supposed to submit your proposal. And be particular in the instruction. What actually to upload in the Google Drive. Now we are going to use Google Drive. So the student, the examiners, the chairman will share the Google Drive where you have to upload this document into the Google Drive. That's why you have to particular on the checklist. And especially in our faculty, Ziana, always remind all the students how and what actually the checklist of what actually you need to upload in Google Drive. So this is the thing. So, so oral and viva session actually is meant to for you to defend your proposal. You know, you have to defend your proposal, whether this proposal is work or not. You know? So this is the main purpose. It's not to argue. You are the person who read more than the examiner as well as the your supervisors, because you've gone through hundreds of literatures, document, journal. You see, so you know more than your supervisors, and when as well as the examiner itself. But now in the oral session, the main thing is how you defense and whether you will be able to describe properly, explain, elaborate, the facts, your understanding, your summarizations of literature reviews, your analysis of literature review. So this is the the things that we are going to evaluate. So this is actually is the highest levels of learning when you are gone through all, you analyze, you have you be able to write in your proposal as well as in your thesis, and then you'll be able to describe, elaborate your finding, your literatures. So this is the highest levels of learning for PhD levels, right? Okay, as I mentioned just now, the material have to be submitted online, and we will conduct the examination uh, online as well. Okay, so you can be anywhere. You can be anywhere, in the campus or at home, even, if you are there in the Saudi, because there are a few students in Saudi as well as Indonesia as well. You can submit the thesis now. This is for you. Submit your thesis, your final thesis, as well as go through all the checklists, and you have to go through. Okay, I will read a bit, about. Actually, you can get the list of the checklist. What actually you should do by just brief something, but it have to be something that you need to be sure. The first thing is the internet connections. Just make sure that you have a very good internet connection. And then another thing is that because I've conducted so far two on the Viva session for PhD as well as the assessment online, microphone and with camera. Because sometimes if you're not properly use the good microphone, I don't know why, because sometimes the voice is very difficult to hear. So you have to make sure that you have good using good proper microphones and web camera, and to make sure you are alone in the room, no one else. That's why one of the procedures, when we conduct the assessment, is that you have to show us in your room. You have to rotate, your so that no one else is there, right? But at the time of rotation, someone can be hide under the tables. Doesn't matter why. Then you have to make sure that you are alone there, so that we can test you basically in your achievement. So and this thing will be done in the day or an hour before. Okay, for the e-assessment, we will conduct some testing, some dry test, dry run test, few 1 day before or 1 hour before, so that everyone has a very good mean link and have a good connections all. Okay, so I'll take a lot of time now. Just let's read out about what actually the important for the first assessment. Okay, the first thing is you have to submit your proposal with your supervisor signatures. That means certified with your supervisors. That means your supervisor have to read your proposal first before you upload it. That's why the first thing that I have to check is your proposal and your thesis has been signed by the supervisors. That means your supervisor is responsible that he go through. But there is a case, where the student has to I don't know, has to, or they are submitted at the last minute, at the very end of a due date, then supervisors not be able to read through all. So, well, this is your responsible. If you are not be able to deal with the supervisors to submit early to your supervisors to verify, then you will get some problem in the Viva session, because the supervisors have no chance to read through all your proposal and don't have chance to make a comment and to correct whatever's things to be corrected. Then you have to face in the examinations in the oral session, where the examiner will start to ask you. And then the second one is the plagiarism reports. There is a report, the form that you have to fill in, and then you have to make sure that you get this report certified by the program coordinator. Huh? For PhD is Dr. Asri, Professor Dr. Asri. Okay. So he actually is the one to verify your plagiarism's percentage, whether be able or not. And the third one is that you have to prepare the video presentation for about 20 minutes. So this is, the new things that we introduce. You have to prepare 20 minutes video presentation. The reason is that if you done this presentation, so the examiners can go through this videos, your presentation early, and then we have a very short period of time at the time of Viva, at the time of question and answer. So at the time of Viva, at the time of Viva or the time of assessment, oral assessment, so that means the chairman can decide, well, we don't have you don't have to do any presentation, because presentation is already already uh, go through by the examiners, so just straight to question answers. So this is what the new things in e-assessment, so we straight to a question and answer session. And sometimes, because this morning I conduct one of the oral assessment, because sometimes we are, of course, we are human, we still give a chance for the student for 5 minutes to give some introduction, so that he can be a bit calm, and then ready to start with the question and answers. We're not just straight to question and answers, but we give you time to talk, because sometimes, when we start, we want to start to speak, is a is a problem. But once you speak, for example, like me, once you speak, it's difficult to stop. Okay, so let the student be, get calm and well prepared and everything, and then give them about 5 minutes introductions and some brief about your research, and then we start question and answer. So I think for the PhD submission, okay, you have to go to the checklist. We have about uh, 12 documents that you need to submit online. 12 documents. You have to go through. I don't have to read it out. It's there in my slide presentations, but because the time is very short, so well, if you have some questions after this, I will follow up after the question and answer sessions. Okay, thank you, Atika.
Okay, thank you so much, Prof. Shafi'i, for the explanation just now. So I'm going to remind the viewers, if you have any questions for our panelists, please comment down below on our FB Live. So my next question is to Zafran. So after hearing Prof. Shafi'i's explanation, is there any challenges that you think will be faced by the postgraduate students? So is online first assessments or online Viva will be one of the challenges for the PG students? And maybe you can share, some tips as well for your friends.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good afternoon. First of all, I would like to say thank you to the moderator and all the webinar organizers for choosing me as one of the panelists in this meaningful webinar to help students understand more about the challenges and how to overcome the challenges regarding the upcoming online e-assessment. So the question that was asked to me was, is there any possible challenges that a postgraduate student might encounter during the e-assessment? And is there any tips that I would like to share for my fellow postgraduate students? So let me say this first. In my honest opinion, I think that the e-assessment is not so much different compared to the regular assessment that we are used to. It just happens that the platform is only a little bit different, but at the base level, it's still the same. So there is no reason for us to worry too much or panic. However, nevertheless, some students might have some unique challenges. For example, some students might experience mental anxiety because this type of presentation might be very new to them. So they might not know what to expect. Fortunately, our School of Computing is well aware of this challenge, which is why they are conducting this webinar to help students know what to expect and therefore reduce their mental anxiety. And some unique challenges that, in my opinion, a postgraduate student might face is that because a postgraduate student's presentation is more about presenting ideas and also new research problems, I think that this could be proved quite difficult to be presented online. I mean, imagine for a comparable situation, imagine trying to pitch an investor your business idea only through email or online communications such as web conferencing. Obviously, this would be very difficult to convince your investor to invest in your business if the only way you can communicate with them is through online, such as email and web conferencing. And another challenge that I could find for a postgraduate student is that some students might experience slight awkwardness when trying to explain technical details regarding their research. Because for me, I think that I always prefer face-to-face presentation because I can see the facial expression and the body language of my examiners. This helps me to understand whether or not my examiner could follow my presentation or not. This visual cues of my examiners, which is the facial expression and also their body language, also helps me to recognize which part of my presentation that I should be emphasizing on. And furthermore, because of the high technicality of postgraduate studies, I think that there is a high chance of our examiners might get distracted because of the e-assessment. Because of the work from home issue that was ordered by the government, it is most likely that our examiners are listening to our presentation from home. This causes them to be more likely to be distracted compared to when they are listening to our presentation when they are at the presentation room. So if our presentation might be too technically dense, where it might contain too much equation or complex diagrams, and our presentation flow is poorly designed, which makes them confused. So I think that it is very likely that they are easily distracted, especially when they are listening to our presentation from home. So I think a postgraduate student need to take note of this issue. So moving on to the tips that I would like to share to my fellow postgraduate students. First is not to pressure yourself too much. First of all, you need to realize that there is no such thing as a perfect presentation in the first place. And then furthermore, because this type of e-assessment is all very new to all of us, equally to our lecturers, there's no reason to expect perfection from each one of us. It just causes unnecessary anxiety and panic, and will also cause adverse effects to our grades. And then try also to take this assessment as an opportunity to learn. Part of me thinks that as a postgraduate student, besides learning how to conduct independent research, I think a postgraduate student need to also learn how to communicate their research effectively to other researchers. Because regardless whether there is coronavirus or e-assessment or not, sooner or later we will have to communicate to other researchers that are far away from us. For example, in other countries. And the only way we can communicate with them is through online communication such as email and web conferencing. So view this as an opportunity to learn, which is very useful to help our career in research. And finally, try to plan our presentation very carefully this time, especially when our examiners are listening to our presentation from home. Because as I mentioned earlier, there is high likely that our examiners can be distracted. So I would like to advise that As any other presentation, the most important is to design our flow in a logical manner so that it is very easy to follow. And then try to balance out between making it easy to understand without skipping too much details. Remember that we are trying to present our research to professors who are experts in their field. So skipping too much details can also be cause bad effects to our grades. So I wish you all a successful presentation. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Zafran, for the tips and the challenges that you have raised. So my next question goes to Dr. Dayang and Prof. Shafi'i. So is there anything that both of you want to add regarding e-assessment? Maybe the effectiveness of the e-assessments, and what can you suggest to our undergraduate and postgraduate students for their preparation of these new methods of e-assessments? So I think Dr. Dayang can answer the question first.
Okay, thank you very much, Shaktika. As I mentioned, the information you need to know about detailed information, what you should do, what you shouldn't do during online examination. Okay, so make sure first go through the guideline that I mentioned to you just now, and then communicate with your lecturer. Okay. If you have any problem, communicate with your lecturer. If you're not sure how the lecturer will organize, because each individual courses has a unique assessment. You cannot, because the previous practice that you already did all from the beginning of the first semester till now, you just get yourself prepared and go to the examination hall. No, this one is totally different. You really need to read the guideline. You really need to read the instruction. You really need to be aware of what you should do before you go to the exam. Okay, that is first thing. And then you should know what you should do during examination if you have any problem. Okay, and then and what you should submit at the end. I have experience where the student wrongly submit different file in their test. So be careful what file you should attach, and end up when the lecturers start to mark the exam question, it's turned out with different document that they attach. So be careful, be aware. And then most important thing is either you sitting for online exam or pen and paper exam, you need to get yourself prepared. You need to do revision. You need to know your material. Then your anxiety will become lower. The preparation will reduce your anxiety. And then this is things that I would like to advise or not advise. During virtual examination, the integrity and honesty of the student is also being tested. Because nobody will sitting next to you to see whether you referring to your friend, with whether you're referring to neighbor next door, but actually we are testing your integrity and honesty. If we find out you are doing this dishonesty, you need to follow academic regulation as a usual academic regulation that we have in UTM. That's the only thing that I first plan, get to know what you should do before, during, and after examination, and then be prepared and please be honest. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Dayang. So, Prof. Shafi'i?
Yeah, for postgraduate, actually, the main thing is you have to, because the supervisors and the student, we're not met, isn't it? So you have to try to do some mock session with your supervisors, and then you start to present a few more times, not only once, because once you get something like familiar in presenting what you have, what you do, what you have done in your research, Then this is to make your anxiety become, and then you get ready to answer. And sometimes the supervisors, because the supervisors is sometimes the professors and the seniors lecturers, they actually are know what kind of exam, what kind of question normally will be asked by the examiners. You know, so at that time, when you do some mock session with your supervisors, and sometimes you can do the mock session with your friends as well. You know, so the main thing is don't be too panic at the time of oral session. And actually this is some kind that I can see the advantage, because you are stay alone in the rooms, no one else, and the examiners is not in front of you. Actually this is less stress than the person who do the vivas face to face with the examiners. But of course in the viva session we will open the video session, the video pictures for all the examiners, as well as the chair, so that that you are talking with them, and they actually really uh, hear what actually you are talking attentively. So this is, I think, that the things that that I want to stress for the postgraduate, especially research. Get ready and do a bit more mock viva session. Okay, Atika.
Okay, thank you so much, Professor Shafi'i. So now let's answer some questions from the viewers. So I've seen that there are a few questions. Okay, so the first question is from Umar Sani, and he asks, my question, Doctor, we have make a hardbound copy after all the corrections, but I'm not sure what is his question.
So this one is the postgraduate, I think so,
Yes.
Omar Sani.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, actually the submission of the thesis is still in the digital form. But this one is at the time of the final session after viva correction and everything. So you need to submit it. The main things now return to the digital form. But for the hardbound, sometimes you need to print and send to the examiners, especially when they need it. They need the hardbound, because sometimes the examiners, it's a bit difficult to read soft copy on the screen. So they need some hard bounds to be print out and then sent to them, so that they can do a lot of writing here and there and give some comment. It's more easy than online. So I think for the I think Diane, there is no
Yes.
hard bound for the final PhD thesis, is it? Now all are
Okay.
in digital.
Let I add on that point.
Yeah.
True, Prof. Shafiq said if you submitting thesis for correction, like for example, you already did your correction, you want the examiner to double check it. It depends on the examiner. Some examiner want it to be in hard copy. But if after you complete all the correction, meaning that you all the examiner already agree with your correction, meaning that we want to submit for Senate award. For Senate award, you don't require to submit hardbound at this moment, at this MCO situation. But we will process your award till Senate. But after the situation, you still need to provide one copy viva, one copy of your hardbound thesis later, not now. But you can still have your award during this MCO situation. So the hardbound is only for our library collection. Yeah. So meaning that later after the situation cool down, then we will let you know when you should submit your hardbound. But for the process of Senate, to bring your result to Senate so that you can be awarded with your PhD or master, you don't require hardbound for that process. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Umar, for the question. Next question is from Malini, and she asks, "What are the 12 documents need to submit before final Viva?" Prof. Shafi?
Oh, Malini, how are you? Okay, actually we have a list because Ziana will, give you the list of 12 documents. For example, like, of course, your copy of thesis, endorsed by your supervisors, and then the plagiarism report certified by the program coordinator, Dr. Asri, and then you have to submit, the forms. There are 4 forms of the submission, the plagiarism form as well, and then you have to submit your publication, list of publication, as well as the proof of the publications and the publication, the copy of the publication also we need, and then your copy of ID, passport or IC, and then as well as your fees release letter from Bendahari. So this is important. If you're not being released from the from the fees that you're not paid yet, so we can't actually conduct the Viva session. Okay, thank you, Malini.
Okay, thank you, Malini, for your question. So the next question is from Lee Carson, and he asks, "Hi, could I know that can UTM server handle the large number of online submission or download of examination resources in final exam?" So I think this one Dr. Dayan can answer first.
Okay, thank you, Lee Carson. Actually, from the beginning of our teaching and learning semester, which is early of April, UTM already planned step by step towards the final examination. We already try our best to support, okay? Because before, there are different platforms, as I mentioned just now, different courses might use different platform. Not all courses will use UTM e-learning. Some courses will also use different platform, not only UTM platform. Okay, so this is one reason. So meaning that UTM will try our best to support the online examination. Okay, and then all lecturer who plan to use UTM platform need to acknowledge or need to inform UTM lead 3 days or 1 week before the examination, so that our technical staff, our UTM digital will get ready with all the possibility. That's the reason why we arrange all exam from 8 till 5, meaning that during working hours, we have our technical team will support the technicality of the platform that we use for e-learning. I cannot predict that much so far, but as far as I concern, we try and we try to do something. Inshallah, we pray the best for it. Everything will go smoothly during 5th of July till 25th of July. Okay.
And there is some technical person as well. We'll always from our faculty or our school, as well as from CICT, we always be there to to monitor all the implementations of assessment.
Yeah, true.
Okay, thank you, Lee Carson, for your questions. So next question is from Akmal, and he asks, "Will these type of assessments be continued for next semester, since online learning will be done until 31st December 2020? So, Dr. Dayan?
Okay. As we know, we have 2 types of assessment: the final exam that we're going to face in July, and then the assignment that we usually did during all semester, from the beginning of semester to the end of the semester. Okay, for next semester, as far as we know, we will continue with this online learning until end of December. So definitely, we call it formative assessment. As I mentioned just now, we have summative assessment and formative assessment. Summative is like final exam. Formative is all the assignment that we go through during the semester. So definitely formative assessment, because our semester will start in October 2020. So definitely summative formative assessment will continue online until December 2020. Because our final exam will be somewhere January, I presume, or end of December. We don't have the calendar yet. If the final exam in January, we wait until the next announcement by ministry. But if the final exam is will start in December, definitely we'll continue with the online final exam as what we're going to do this semester. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Akmal, for the question. Next question we have from Nurul Naziha Jamal. So she asks, I would like to reconfirm due to some info that I missed. So during the online assessment for postgraduate student, we just need to give a brief on our research and straight away to question and answer session. Is it an official guideline or it will be based on our examiners? My concern is that if there will be some amendments in the presentation slides, does we need to submit the new videos or can just explain during the assessment? I think Prof. Shafi'i can answer this question.
Yeah, so this one is related to the oral session or Viva session. Okay, so basically, we have to be prepared before the Viva itself. You know, the examiners is already give the right to access all the documents, especially as well as your video presentations. So whatever the video presentation that you present, that you upload in the Google Drive, so this is basically is something like a rough ideas on the examiners will go through. That's why I have to mention to you that the examiners have all gone through all actually the thesis, from cover to cover. They have to read it all and they know what actually you write it in. And for example, like if you want to have to clear out something or to do some amendment related to what you can done in the Viva session. Of course, we give you some chance for you to look, because this slide presentation is just some guide basically, for us to proceed with the question and answers. Yes, you can, but if for example, like if you need to upload really crucial things, then you can deal with Diana. So still before the final exam, I think she will allow to upload that. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much, Nurul Naziha, for the question. Next question. Okay, the next question is from Adam Abdullah. So he asked, my question to Prof. Shafi'i, can you explain the grading criteria or types for first assessment?
Right. For the first assessment, basically is the same, So we have levels of P1. P1, that means your proposal is accepted as it is. There is no correction at all. So we just accept it. And then P2 is something that a little corrections that you need to do it within 1 month. And then we have P3. P3 we give you 3 months for the corrections. And then P4 actually is you need to do the correction in 6 month time, and you need it need to be verified by your supervisors as well as examiners. And the last one is P5, your proposal is rejected. So basically it's the same. There's 5 levels of grading for Viva or oral session. Okay, thank you, Adam.
Thank you, Adam, for the question. So next question. is from Marini. So she want to ask a question that is not related to e-assessments. So she says, third year students will be having our internship next semester, but many companies are not replying or will reply after MCO. Will there be any exceptions or kelonggaran, like leniency, for anyone that still don't get any intern placement, or how? Maybe Dr. Dayan can answer this question.
Okay. Thank you very much, Atika. Marini, I know this is an issue, especially for our third year student who are in the process of hunting for their internship company. Up to this, because the deadline that we assign for the student to apply is until 26 June. I'm not sure whether Dr. Norfa already announced, but we aware that many companies did not respond or has not respond to our student application. Okay, we will check after 26th of June and see the percentage of the student who already or managed to secure any place in any company until 26th June. Then we will decide whether we will suggest something for those who are unable to get any placement during their internship. But we did arrange a number of engagement or help from company. Like for example, last week our chair communicate with MDEX, and MDEX agree to help us to find a company who willing to take our student to do internship in their company. So we will discuss further with MDEC. Don't worry, Marini. Inshallah, after 26 June, Dr. Norfa and her team will announce what is our suggestion for those third year students who still cannot or unable to get their placement in for their internship.
Okay, thank you, Marini, for the question. Next question is from Muhammad Anwar Hussain. He said, Prof, is the fee clearance is compulsory for proposal defense students too? So Prof Shafi'i can answer this question.
Look, for the first assessment,
No.
We are not actually, consider about the fees, whether you have paid or not. This is only for the Viva section, the final Viva section. For the first assessment, no. Whether you are
Okay.
still owe something with the UTM or you are free, so it doesn't matter. So we will proceed with the, oral section for the first assessment.
Okay, thank you, Muhammad Anwar, for the question. Do we have any more questions? I think that was the last question from our FB comments. Okay, so it seems that we have no more questions. So thank you so much, all the viewers, for all your questions. So in conclusion, regardless for both postgraduate or undergraduate students, there are a few challenges like weak internet connection, the environment is not conducive, or some of them having lost connection when submitting answer, mental anxiety, and the difficulties to explain the technical details of the research. So some of the solutions from our panelists are, take it easy and don't pressure yourself too much, and view e-assessment as an opportunity to learn so that it will be, so you're very prepared for your future career and your research. And for internet problems, from Dr. Dayang said just now, plan what you should do before, during, and after your examination. And please follow the guideline at olc.utm.my. And also, you have to be prepared for all your equipments, your mics, your camera is prepared, before your online presentation. And also get your internet line tested before your online presentation. And also last one is, pay careful attention when designing your presentation. Be more mindful about how you convey your presentation so that the examiner, can understand and assess you better. And also get in touch with your lecturers and don't forget to communicate with them. If you encounter any problems, please do not hesitate to seek help from them, because I believe that they would try their very best to help their students who are in need. So I guess that is all the time that we have for our webinar today. Thank you to all the panelists here who have willingly to spend their time to share some thoughtful advice with our dearest students. I hope this webinar has been beneficial to all of our viewers, and I wish everyone all the best for your upcoming online assessments. So please like and share our FB page and follow us for more interesting events. And on behalf of all of our panelists, as well as the team behind the scenes, thank you for joining us today, and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and goodbye.